Welcome to Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Sean Anderson for Ponca City Public Schools. This is our weekly visit with the coaches of Pohai Athletics. And on today's show, the head coach of the Ponca City Wildcat football team, Mr. Scott Harmon, will be here. Coach Harmon will join us first, and then a little bit later, we'll be chatting with the cross country head coach, Wendy Landis. Coach Landis will be coming up right here on Coach's Corner. Coach Scott Harmon, thank you for being here. And Muskogee Friday night, last Friday night, it was a tough game. You knew it would be, but there were some things in place that really made it exceptionally difficult.
You bet. We were trying to hide the fact that we weren't going to have our starting quarterback. Justin broke a rib, actually the first play of the Collinsville game, and played the whole game. So I was really pleased with his toughness. But he wasn't able to play this week. And then we actually have five quarterbacks on the varsity roster. One of them's a freshman. Three of those kids were hurt, so we knew going into this game we were limited at the quarterback slot. We had two kids, a sophomore and a freshman, with zero varsity experience, and going into a game against Muskogee, who has a really, really tough and talented defense, we knew it would kind of allow him to pin their ears back and come after us, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, they took advantage of it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they got after us a little bit. We can't turn the ball over. Both those young quarterbacks had three turnovers apiece. We kind of rotated them in there, tried to do what they can do for us. Was very pleased with our run game, and our offensive line had a young freshman with over 115 yards rushing. So we actually played two or three freshmen in a big ball game, which is good for the future, but it's tough for now.
Yeah, absolutely. And coming up, Shawnee coming into town for homecoming. We're going to talk about that here in a moment. First, not spending too much time on the Muskogee game, but some of the things that you can take, some of the positives you took from the players. So you talked about the rushing yards and
Right.
other things in that game that you can pick out and go, you know what, that's working well.
Right, and we got some. I mean, it was some valuable experience for our younger quarterbacks. We kind of found a little combination at running back we like a little bit to kind of relieve some of the pressure off of Ray Longoria and not having to carry the ball as much. So we'll play off of those things and kind of build onto them as we go on throughout the season. But yeah, it was a tough one, but we knew that going into it. We can't turn the ball over, but we got to do a better job than that.
Yeah. Shawnee comes to town. It's homecoming, and I do want to remind you that the Punk City High School High Steppers, with their annual barbecue dinner that'll happen before the game in the high school commons. You can dine in, you can carry out, and you can pull up on the 5th Street entrance. They'll have a drive-through service set up there for the High Steppers. And that barbecue dinner, they do it every homecoming. And homecoming is a big week. It's a big week all week long. As a coach, how do you keep your players from getting distracted by all of the festivities?
To be honest with you, head football coaches hate homecoming week.
Right.
If I was telling you anything different, I'd be lying to you. It just other things are in the kid's mind when you're trying to get them to focus on winning a football game, and practice from 2 to 4. Seems like a lot of the time during homecoming weeks the kids are off in a different space, so you really have to kind of focus in. Last year I chose Bigsby on purpose. It wasn't a good decision. We made a little bit better decision this year on who we scheduled for homecoming, and we want the kids to be involved. We want the community to be involved. It's going to be a good ball game coming up. We've got a couple of kids that are getting healthier, especially at the quarterback slot. So we'll be able to throw some more experienced kids out there this week, and hopefully give us a better chance to be successful.
As far as Andrews, as far as that broken rib, what's the prognosis? When can we expect him back?
I think he goes back to the doctor next week. The kid played the whole game. He broke it on the first play game against Collinsville.
Wow.
And played the whole game.
Wow.
Extremely tough young man. It's kind of a weird break. He's had some previous injuries, so we're not for sure if it was a previous injury that didn't heal up right, or if it was re-aggravated during
Right.
the Collinsville game. But whatever it is, he's not cleared to play. So we'll go Kyder Welch, who has some quarterback experience, got cleared Friday. So we'll be able to use him. Lane Sholey's still nursing a pretty good growing injury. So right now we're probably at three, maybe 3.5 healthy quarterbacks, and I really wouldn't feel comfortable about throwing Lane out there until his growing is completely healed, because his biggest asset is his running ability.
Yeah, absolutely. So Shawnee, can you size them up for us?
Man, their coaching staff does a really good job of utilizing their talent and speed. They're a lot younger. They're not quite as physical as Muskogee. Muskogee was really physical, of course. So was Collinsville. So we're coming off really two physical ball games. Shawnee likes to spread it around a little bit more and throw it around, so we feel like that may play into our hands a little bit. We've got them at home. We played them in an extremely close ball game last year, and they seem like they're dealing with a few injuries like we are. You know, Coach, you're at the midpoint of the season, and people are going to get banged up. I told our kids the other day, I said, you know, this is full contact football. You're going to be banged up. You got to, play through some injuries, and our kids are trying to do that. So I'm pleased where we're at right now.
Very good. Well, the Ponca City Wildcat football team 2-2 on the season, and Friday night was Shawnee in town for homecoming, looking to take that record to 3-2, and big crowd, homecoming crowd. It's going to be fantastic for your athletes after they settle down from all of the homecoming festivities and get into that game at Shawnee. What are some of the other players you're looking to step up this week?
Well, Kyler hasn't been on the offensive side of football since early in the year. You know, we'll use Cameron Jackson quite a bit at the running back slot. We also have Carl Dean, who we call him Dre, who did a really good job last week. Running the football. We'll feature that, and then defensively, we've kind of got to get back to being aggressive and getting after it and doing a better job tackling. Our safeties are getting a little bit thin, and we're having to use some of those kids on offense. So we're going to be looking for some kids to kind of step up that haven't got some games. So we'll get a little bit of both there, some experience and some youngness.
Very good. That is head coach Scott Harmon, Ponca City Wildcat football team, homecoming Friday night. We want to see you at Sullins Stadium. Of course, the Wildcats every week all season long on KPNC Radio with the live video and broadcast audio found at PoncaCityNow.com. And Jordan Woodruff and Reed will have all of the action for you every single game. Well, coming up right here on Coach's Corner, and our thanks to Coach Harmon, coming up, Wendy Landis, the head coach of the Ponca City High School cross-country team. It's coming up when we return on Coach's Corner.